Hello, and welcome everybody to another episode of Pod Strickland. I'm your host, Shwin and Prez. This is episode 340. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host Prez. That is at _Presidente on Twitter. Prez, how are you doing on this Thursday night?
I'm doing all right. Just got back from the motherland PR a couple days ago.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Bronx.
No, although that would also be a correct answer to that question. Where is the motherland for Prez? I'm sure the weather was great in the Bronx. It was better in Puerto Rico, so I have no regrets.
Good to hear. Good to have you back rejuvenated after your R&R.
I will say I was disappointed while I was there. We were bored one day, me and my brother, and we were just like, yo, we should go to one of these fucking Puerto Rico League games with like Tyreek Evans and DeMarcus Cousins and Brandon Knight. And then I remembered, because I follow them on Instagram, that the league season ended very recently, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So
yeah, they don't want to match up against the NBA, right? That's the whole point.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, plan your vacation better. All right.
I know. Next time I'll plan around Brandon Knight and Ronaldo Balkman.
Just playing around DeMarcus Cousins. Ain't nobody gives a shit about Ronaldo Balkman or Brandon Knight, man.
That's Puerto Rico League MVP Brandon Knight.
Yeah, definitely don't care about that. I want to let you know that. I'm pretty sure people that watch that league don't even give a shit about that. All right. Before we get started, I do make a few announcements. The first being that the Strickland has an Instagram. Check that out. That is at the Strict Atlanta Instagram, posting all kinds of new content on there. The Strickland also has a YouTube channel where you may watch the podcast. And if you are and you have not done so already, please hit like and then subscribe to the channel. That would be a huge help to us. Also, leave us a comment. That would also help. Strickland also has merchandise. I'm wearing some of it. Hopefully, this certain somebody gets an extension soon. If you want some of this merchandise, you can find that on our website at www.thestrict.land. There's a link there that'll take you to the store. You can find all kinds of stuff on there. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, coffee mugs, water bottles, you name it. We've got it. Again, you can find that on our website. And then finally, the Strickland has a Patreon, which you can subscribe to. There are a number of different tiers. There's a $6 tier that gets you access to Pod Strickland, this podcast that I host every Friday with Prez. You also get access to our newest podcast, Takes from Obvious Bozos, hosted by Andrew Steele, a.k.a. Doug, alongside Zach Blatter, our social media extraordinaire, I guess we'd call him. They take your takes that you submit in our Discord channel and grade them. So if you're interested in that, subscribe to the Discord again and look out for that podcast. You also get access to the Strickland Discord if you subscribe to this tier. But the conversation never stops. There are further tiers. There is a $9 tier that gets you access to Strickland Roll, my solo pod where I rant and rave about the next even more. You also get access to wonderful premium articles by Matthew Miranda, one of the best in the business. And finally, you get access to Strictly NFL, our newest podcast. It is, you guessed it, an NFL podcast that is hosted by Constantine and Jeffrey Rasmussen, who you will be familiar with from our various post-game threads and post-game podcasts that we do. There are further tiers. There's a $15 tier, $30 tier, $50 tier, and $100 tier. It's got a variety of additional benefits like listening to pod recordings, merchandise discounts, and even potentially co-hosting a podcast alongside yours truly one day, whether you choose to subscribe or not. None of this would be possible without you. And none of this would be possible without BetOnline. Football is back, and BetOnline is your number one information source for all your sports wagering info with all the up-to-the-minute stats, news, scores, and matchup breakdowns. Get the latest game odds, spreads, and totals from the NFL and college football at your fingertips with BetOnline's real-time updates on statistics, news, and odds. From Week 1 all the way to the college football playoff and Super Bowl, BetOnline gives you access to the best football promotions and contests available anywhere online. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, so I don't think, is there anything you want to talk about with the Knicks? Because I am done talking about this team before they play a single regular season game at this point. We've been talking about this fucking 9-man rotation for like 3 months. We saw a little bit of it in preseason. Some of it was good, some of it sucked. We'll see what happens when the regular season starts. I don't know if there's anything else you want to get off your chest, though.
I didn't really watch the last game, and I did want to talk a little bit about Dante's shot mechanics. Just kidding. I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm ready for the season to begin. Even I have my limits.
I was about to be like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Dante DiVincenzo's shot mechanics.
Nope.
I was
I'm
about
good.
to
I'll
be
spare
like,
all
yeah,
of
no,
you.
we could, I don't know. I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then I would just put myself on mute for a little bit, started, seeing what the live spread was in the Jaguars game. And
Look, we
maybe put
believe in
that in.
self-care even as podcast hosts. So I'm glad that you're such a progressive thinking individual. Take care of yourselves, people, even while your podcast co-host is speaking. There's no shame, and I'm saying that unironically.
So what we were going to do today is we were going to talk about the various awards that are on that anybody can win, obviously, this season. So Sixth Man of the Year, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know. Do you want to do in-season tournament MVP? Because I really don't. I don't even know.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't
but
either.
That makes sense. That makes
Okay.
sense. It's just
I guess we
cool
could talk
way
about
to...
it. Yeah, I could give you the
No,
odds.
there's literally nothing. We don't. No, there's no substantial way to analyze that until literally the tournament is what?
See
How
it
many
once,
games?
right?
How many games is it? Like
It's four.
if
Four
if
and then
you
the championship.
4 games, it could literally be Dante DiVincenzo if he just fucking goes off from 3 for like a week.
I've seen him do that once before in my life, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Then and then most improved player, regular season MVP, rookie of the year. I figure we can do first and second team All NBA at least. I don't care about third team. Third team is the fake. That's the fake All NBA.
Yeah,
all right.
Go tough crowd.
Yeah, unless Jalen Brunson makes it, then it's the most legit All NBA team to ever exist. But if Halliburton makes it, it's fraud. All right, we can start with Sixth Man of the Year because, and just so everybody knows, all of the odds that I'll be using tonight are from Bet Online, our very, very, very wonderful sponsor. Okay, this Sixth Man of the Year, I'll just give you the top 5 guys. Emmanuel Quickly, he is the leading odds on this, plus 850. Malcolm Brogdon plus 900. Drew Holiday.
Wait, Malcolm. I guess we'll get into it. Yeah, Malcolm. Then Drew.
Drew Holiday plus 1,000. Not sure if he's going to start or not. Norman Powell plus 1,100. Chris Paul plus 1,200.
Who was the fourth?
Norman Powell.
Okay.
These odds are giving me. So, and I'll even give you the sixth.
Wait. Who is the fifth? Derek Williams. I mean, sorry, Derek Williams. Derek White.
Chris Paul.
The fifth is Chris Paul. Who's the sixth?
Malik Monk.
Usually Vegas, when I read these things, that's on, but this is like detached from reality.
And Derek White is 7th at plus 1,600.
Okay.
So they're basically saying they think there's a better chance Derek White starts than Drew Holiday. But really, I think both of them are going to start. And how
Yeah. I was.
So if you want to take out Drew and Derek White, you still have the top 5 there. Quickly, plus 850. Brogdon, plus 900. Norman Powell, plus 1,100. Chris Paul, plus 1,200. Malik Monk, plus 1,400.
Yeah, I think Quickly would be tied for my favorite with whoever the sixth man in Boston is. Like I haven't been keeping up with like their preseason. Did they? I don't think they announced a starting lineup, right? Like officially.
No, I mean I'll check their lineup today. I'm pretty sure they started the same team that they put up against us, which I think would be a strong indication that neither Derek White or Drew Holiday would actually qualify for this award.
Yeah, I figured whoever was the sixth man, even if it's old ass PEDs, 55-year-old Al Horford, that person would be in the mix right with Quickly, just because this is what happens when a team is really good and they have a prominent sixth man like that. Al won't.
He won't score enough.
Yeah, neither Al nor Derek will score enough, but they'll be. All of a sudden, all this other shit aside from scoring will matter for sixth man of the year. Even though last year it was like, whoa, Malcolm Brogdon's a great scoring point guard off the bench. And then they'll be like, oh, look how he stops Joel Embiid or whatever for fucking Al Horford. And I do think he'll like.
Oh my god, look at his plus minus.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like if they out, like he is a really good six man, but like,
No, he's not. He's not. He's a fucking scumbag. Fuck Al
all
Horford.
right, all right. Anyway, I think it'll be those two in the mix. Uh, Malcolm Brogdon, that's bizarre. I guess if they are truly gonna hang on to him for a couple of months,
They have to play him. That's the thing. He's not
is
somebody
he?
you cannot play.
But he's not gonna be the sixth man unless they go with the.
I think he will
Well, I
be.
guess that didn't really stop him in Boston either from winning because I was like, unless Portland goes with a 3 guard rotation, I figured like they have Scoot, Simons, and Sharp, and I've assumed perhaps erroneously that one of those dudes would come off the bench and
Yeah,
be the
no, no,
sixth man.
no. It's a,
I mean,
I
Sharp
actually.
is big enough that you can probably just get away with it for a tanking team.
So I actually think like that they're gonna start all three of those guys. I'm almost positive about that. I actually hate it. More
That's like
for
a good stealth tank, but I don't like divvying up the on ball reps with all those dudes.
I just like I like why is Simons on this team still? Like I like Simons. Think he's probably a good player. Definitely it need just
He's
get
just they just want more time for offers. I'm pretty sure. Like you don't want to
I
be
don't even think they
hasty
took
about that
offers.
shit.
I don't even
You
think
don't
they took
think so?
offers on him. I don't think so at all. I think Simons is their new CJ McCollum, where it's like, oh no, we discovered him. Like
They
he's
have
so
invested
good.
like 10 years since he was there, since he was like 11 years old or whatever.
Yeah, he probably came up in like their youth academy, even though that doesn't exist in American sports.
He was like one of the listeners should know Simons was there's like some comment section somewhere in like posting and toasting archives. He was one of the earliest Prez baits where it's like, yo, this guy wears 120 pounds. His last year before the pros was in not real college.
he went to IMG, right?
Yeah, we went to IMG and he looked like an 11-year-old. But
He
I was
still
like,
looks like he's
yo,
only like 17.
exactly. But even back then, I was like, yo, his cross into his pull up, first round grade, easy. And
Well, he
then he
should have gone
just kind of
first,
stayed
obviously.
on the bench for like a zillion years, just like learning. So I kind of forgot about him. And I mean, it worked out for him, whatever. But I wouldn't be surprised if because they've invested all this time and then they paid him 20, which is fine, right? Like if not good, straight up, even though he don't play no D, like that they're probably not loath to trade him, but like they're probably at the point where they'd have to be like blown away in a way that nobody's gonna blow them away over Anthony Simons, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I just hate it because I think he's going to end up taking
It
touches
doesn't
away
make
from
sense
Scoot.
long term.
Yeah. Anyway, going
Yeah.
back to this Brogdon thing, like he's one of these. He's annoying. Like,
He's
and I
not
think
do you
this.
think he's gonna end up do you think he's gonna end the year in Portland?
No, but I think he'll play enough games there that
Do you think
it'll.
he'll be in Portland on the new year on January 1st?
Yes.
I think I agree with you. I think he'll be there and then
See,
they'll
and
get like a fucking second rounder or
no,
something for him.
nobody that's like actually worth something. Like no, literally, not a single person who's actually worth something
Gets
gets
early
traded.
trade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they all get traded like the week leading up to the trade deadline. It never happens
Yeah.
earlier than that. So he's stuck there until at least the trade deadline. And the thing is, like, I think by that time, like the Harden thing is the only thing I can see happening before that point in time.
Yeah,
And
that's
if
its own like weird category.
so, if Harden goes to the Clippers, now I'm like, okay, well, they don't need Brogdon because they'll have Russ still, right? So they need a backup point guard, obviously. But there'll be some team that's going to be like, oh, like we really need a backup point guard. Like, what if we get Malcolm Brogdon? That's 100% going to happen. And so I just think he's going to be a backup point guard regardless of where he ends up. And so, like that's why, and he's going to put up numbers because if he plays minutes, he'll always put up numbers. That's like just what he will do. He'll always put up numbers because he's an annoying fucking player who will always get his like shots up and get his usage up, no matter what the fuck else he does, which is basically nothing at this point. So like I think I don't think he will win it because gun to the head of like 90% of voters, I would bet they would tell you they fucked that up last year. Like the fact
Yeah.
that the Celtics traded him they wanted to trade him for Porzingis. That fell through, and then they just were like, okay, we got to get rid of this guy. Awesome, we can trade for Drew Holiday. Get the fuck out of here. Like, it just tells you everything you need to know. Like, they were not desperately trying to hold on to the guy. So I think they will know that they fucked that up. So to me, like, if you're betting on Brogdon, that's stupid. Like, I think that's a bad bet. He's not going to win it, even if he puts up.
He's
Even
not
if
even going to come close.
Numbers. Yeah,
and which he won't, because there's literally like 5 guards who need the ball, and he's probably the worst of them. Like,
he's probably better than Simons right now, but that doesn't like. But you aren't.
Maybe.
But you're not like you're not. This isn't about who is best right now. That's not how.
Can you imagine? Let me put it to you this way: can you imagine if fucking Anthony Simons was a bench player on the Celtics? Wow, this guy is such an explosive microwave scorer. Oh my god, what a scoring punch! Such youthly athleticism to add to the Celtics' dynamism. We got to hear about all that fucking shit.
The funniest thing about Simons,
his handle is probably the tightest of anybody on Boston. Ugh.
Simons is like the most athletic guy who just never attacks the rim at all in like games. Like, didn't he win a dunk contest?
Yeah, with the fucking like I don't even remember, but like he was jumping high as shit. But yeah, he's still too skinny. Like, I mean, he's stronger than he used to be, and sometimes he's gotten like marginally better at getting to the rim, but it's just fucking hard when you're a twig.
Yeah, well, he's doing all right for himself off the court anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the other guys here in this award. Norman Powell. I don't really understand this. Like,
what? Yeah, no.
He was in the mix last year. I think he was actually the leading scorer off the bench the entire league last year. And guess what? Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Like, the only way he wins this award, right? So the two pieces to winning this award are, one, you have to score off the bench, and two, you have to play on a team that's actually good, like legit good. Not like the Clippers were good last year, where it was like, well, when they're healthy, they're good. It's like, no, you've got to be like legit playoff team that is respectable and isn't like a joke. As
the Clips just have no gravitas for award purposes, because everybody knows like the regular season doesn't matter.
So I see, if they were healthy, I think he would have a chance. But
because they'd win like 60 games, right, if they were healthy.
But Kawhi is going to miss like 25, 30 games minimum. Paul George is going to miss like 25, 30 games minimum. And then it's going to be like the Rush show. And I just don't see it. I'm like actually kind of shocked seeing him this high up the list, because if he was going to do it last year, would have been the moment for him, given like how well he scored off the bench. But, I mean, I know it didn't translate to quickly winning the award, but I do think in general, awards voters are smarter than they used to be. And so, like, I think a guy like Norman Powell, they sniffed out pretty fast. Like, wait, no, he doesn't do anything other than score. And honestly, it might not even be that good. So, no, he's not getting the award. I think
and he doesn't play for Boston. So,
Right. That's the third piece of it, is score a lot, be on a good team, play for the Celtics, then you'll win 6th Man of the Year.
They're literally like, we're gonna go through all these awards, and the Celtics are literally gonna have like not favorite or near favorites for every single one.
I will say they don't have Pritchard listed on here.
That would be a good Hail Mary kind of bet.
Yeah, I think that's like they don't even have odds for him, so they must think he's a really big long shot. But I would, maybe call up your favorite sports book and see if they draw you up a line on him. Maybe throw a couple bucks on that. Chris Paul.
I'm trying to think if there's Chris Paul.
Chris Paul's plus 1,200. He would be like, we didn't count Drew Holiday, so he's like technically the fourth legit guy.
He's allegedly starting, right? So this kind of assumes that he's gonna.
He came off the bench yesterday. So I'm pretty sure he's coming off the bench.
Okay.
And Draymond wasn't even starting yesterday. Draymond was out, right? So he's hurt. So if he's not starting even with Draymond out, like, I think they know what's up, and he knows what's up, and it'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I like Chris Paul as a legitimate candidate for this. You know, the Warriors are probably going to be good as long as Steph's healthy. Really, really good. And I think, you know, we clown him and he's old or whatever, but as long as he plays enough games, like, it's a good fit team wise. Like, I know, like, they're like moves ball and cut and groove and movement, but like, there's just enough smart players to make it work and enough shooting to make life a little easier on him. I don't, he, like, normally I think the sixth man of the year would need that requisite scoring, but Chris Paul has so much respect that people would just be like, oh, what veteran leadership off the bench, and you know, he's just great behind Steph or with Steph or whatever. And then all those arguments that we heard about Malcolm Brogdon, like, oh, you can't count stats when you start, and da 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 da. Like, those would all go out the window because Chris Paul's going to start a little bit when people get hurt. And I don't know. I wouldn't put him behind Quick and Al Horford personally. I mean, I would put him, behind those two guys. But I would put a actually, no, I wouldn't even put a gap between them. I would say he's like right in the mix.
Yeah, I actually, to me, he's not even my second or third favorite guy for this award. Like, I think Quickly is the justified favorite for good reason. I'm not sure he's actually going, like, just because I think he deserves the best odds, I probably wouldn't bet him. I just think, I look at the end of the day, like,
it's a value prop thing.
It's not even that. Like, I just don't trust Tibbs. Like, I don't trust Tibbs to like not fuck around for the first like 25 games and doing weird shit. And I think that could ultimately cost him. The guy that I would bet on is actually the guy after Chris Paul. But the Chris Paul thing, like, I just don't think he's not going to score enough. That's like, you look at this award over the last 15 years, and it's basically just like, do you score at least 15 points a game?
Here's my thing though. I think, and this is like kind of me just talking out of my ass with no evidence, but whatever. This is our podcast. I think that is valuable prior information, but that archetype of player is becoming extinct, and to the extent that it still exists, I think people, again, outside of fucking Boston propaganda, understand that, like, it's really not that impressive anymore.
What if I told you Golden State gets propaganda?
Yeah, I get that.
So, like, that's the way I would, if I were going to vote for Chris Paul, or if I was going to bet on Chris Paul, that would be my logic. Like,
I think most Chuck six men, like how we associate with the award, right? Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford. I think most of them would get treated like how Norm Powell was treated as far as this award goes. And the only reason Brogdon won is because he plays for Boston. And, like, aside from that, like, for you to be an impactful six man, I think the voters are smart enough to be like, oh, like they were with Quickly before all the nonsense, right? Like, yeah, he scores, but also, like, surprisingly good at defense or whatever, which is why I think guys like CP and Al have a chance. But I will say, like, to your point, that would be a shift, absolutely, concerning just like literally the last 15 years of the award, like you said. That would definitely be, they'd be exiting the highway and in a new neighborhood entirely.
Yeah, I just don't see it. And that's why the next guy,
that's fair.
That's who has the sixth best odds. Malik Monk is a guy I would vote for. He's plus 1,400.
That's a good value prop.
He's going to score because that's what he does.
Harder's going to start.
Yeah, I don't think they would change their starting lineup.
Okay,
doesn't make sense. Malik Monk is going to score because that's what he does. They play the fastest pace in the league, which isn't going to change, which means he gets more possessions.
He does other stuff. He passes too.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be good this year. I really don't. I've seen a lot of people like.
I mean, they were good last year, so
they were good last year. I know people are like fading them because they got a lot of great injury luck. Yeah, because I mean they had like the least. I mean the amount of games they missed was something. It was crazy. Like it was historic almost that nobody missed games for them.
I guess as long as Fox and Sabonis, because their depth is actually like fine for the regular season, but like as long as like if Sabonis misses games, then like and Fox misses games, then obviously they're in trouble. So maybe like I get that like as far as star injury luck, but if like Kevin Huerter or fucking Keegan Murray miss games, like they're gonna be fucking fine. Like they have solid bench players.
I think they'd be hurt if they lost Keegan for a little while. I think
Keegan
Herter is
Jordan.
fine. I just think Herter's fine, but I don't think they'd like totally miss him or anything like that.
Then they have Monk. I know you don't care about Kobe Jones, but like he's legit, even as a rook.
Who's Kobe Jones?
He's a rookie they picked.
Okay.
They still got Trey Lyles.
I'm not doing this. Trey, like Kobe Jones doesn't matter. He's not going to shoot 45% from three or the fuck. Harrison, like Trey, these guys, they don't have a guy that can not just replace what Keegan gives them, but gives them the upside that Keegan gives them, which is kind of like why.
Certainly not. But I mean, like as far as like depth goes, like if you assume they give Keegan more touches, then yeah, which is to your point about the upside. And Keegan hit 200 threes, and like no rookie is gonna be that good because that's really rare. But like more to your point, just about Herter, like say Herter gets hurt, Monk has to start, and they need a new backup shooting guard. Like, you know, whether it's Chris Duarte or Kobe Jones, like yeah, it's a drop off, but like they'll be fine.
Well, that drop off to me is fine. Like that's because I think that's like okay, you're talking about 18 minutes a game or something, and Malik Monk. Honestly, Monk is probably better than Herter if we're going to be real.
Yeah.
So that's not a big deal to me. Keegan is different. Anyway, I just think Monk is like you're getting the sixth best odds for a guy who, to me, is probably the second best dude on this list in terms of like just betting value. So he's the guy I would vote for. And then like if I was going to take a real deep cut on somebody, the guy I would there's two. One would be where's he at? Cole Anthony plus 4,000, and then the other one is Russell Westbrook plus 5,000.
Who's the Bucks sixth man?
Where's
is it Bobby?
Yeah, Portis. Portis is
he's got to be in the mix, right?
Yeah, he's the eighth guy, so he's plus 1,800. I feel like he had a great year last year.
And when was the last time a not
guard?
Guard, yeah, or even like a wing. Forget fucking forwards and bigs. Even though I feel comfortable projecting the media to break that streak for Al Horford, but like non-Boston, I don't know.
It's because it always goes to a guy that scores a lot, and you know,
respect Bobby Buckets. Voters.
Yeah, I mean, but he scores in a way that nobody cares.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but I mean, the other one, I mean, I think this guy is pretty good too, like the decent odds anyway. Bogdan Bogdanovic plus 2,000. Like he's gonna score. He's gonna score.
That is a great call.
Yeah, that's a good one. The problem for me with that team is just like Trey and DeJounte take up so much usage that I just don't know he's going to get enough touches. And I kind of feel like they're going to be running more stuff through Jalen Johnson than not to say that he's going to get more touches than Bogdan, but I think he'll get enough to take away from Bogdan. So
last year was his lowest usage since his rookie year. Bogdanovic at 19.8.
Injury prone all the time now. Like I don't know. I think you want the two things you want guys that are going to score and you want durability. And so like quickly fills that bill. Malik Monk, since he straightened out his issues, gets that bill. And like that's why those two to me should be the two favorites. Chris Paul, again, he's going to miss a lot of time probably just because I'm sure they'll be careful with him. And that's a reason why I think Cole Anthony and Russell Westbrook are really underrated in this. Now, the weird thing with Cole is like he's on a team where I think he had a really good season last year, but I'm not sure that they are like
good enough.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. No, I'm more than that. Like, I'm not sure they view him as a guy that they need to give a bigger role to or are prioritizing keeping him in the same role. Like, I could see him honestly getting deprioritized as the year goes along because they did draft Anthony Black 6th. They still have Markelle Fultz. They still got Jalen Suggs. Like, he's a guy that could fall out of the mix. Westbrook, to me, is like, if you are, unless you think he's going to start, which I don't think he's been starting so far. Pretty sure they've been starting Bones. So if you
That's
don't think
crazy. Bones is gonna start in real life.
if you don't think he's going to start, then why is he plus 5,000?
I don't know. Who's the Heat's sixth man this year?
Caleb
If Heroes,
Caleb Martin is the guy that they got that has the best odds for them.
Caleb and Richardson, I guess, are the first two guys off the bench for them.
Yes,
That would be some. I mean, I don't know if that playoff sorcery will continue, but that would be a sneaky little value bet. Buddy Hield, I assume he's not going to end the year in Indiana. He's the other guy who came to mind, who's on the bench now. And I don't know. They got a lot of guys who sort of need the ball now. So if he was on some other team for a longer duration, I could see him being in the mix.
Yeah, no, that's definitely.
I could see some weird shit where like Marcus Smart gets in the mix once Morant comes back, and everybody's like, "Wow, he did such a good job filling in, and now he's a great player off the bench for a good team or something like that." But that'll be an interesting question of like the games played and the starter bench thing that became a rule last year suddenly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know what his odds are at, but like that might be a nice value proposition as well.